Hello, guys. Okay, I have, drum roll please. Ta-da! I have all of the cool information for your brand new and improved, well, not really improved, but your new AP Human Geography exam that we are going to be facing together. And I have the dates too. All right, guys. So, we just got word from the College Board on April 3rd, and then it kind of took them a little while to get everything flowing and such. But we got word on the way that our exam is going to be held this year. So, as we all know, unprecedented, historic time that we are in right now. So, for the AP Human Geography exam for 2020, you need to put this date and time on your calendar, ladies and gentlemen. So, instead of on May 5th, you are getting a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit more than a week more, about a week's worth of time extra. So, excuse me, if you have your planner, if you have a calendar, anything of that nature, make sure that you are aware that your AP exam, ladies and gents, is going to be Tuesday, May 12th at 3 p.m., all right? So that's our time, 3 p.m. So Tuesday, May 12th at 3 p.m. I would like for you guys to set yourself up to log in by 2:30 p.m. That way, if there are any difficulties, if there are any problems, you have that little bit of a cushion to where you're getting into AP Central and all that good stuff. So I'm positive that it's going to be through AP Central, so you need to make sure that you know your login credentials, okay? That means you need to know your username and you need to know your password on AP Central. Okay, so if you are still having problems with that, then you need to make sure that you have it somewhere written down. You've given it to your mom, your dad, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, whoever it is that's going to keep it safe. All right, so those login credentials are going to be super important on the day of the exam. And as we get closer, they'll give us a little bit more information in terms of where you click, how you get in, and all that good stuff. All right, so just make sure that you have all of that on hand if you have not already been utilizing it, which you should be because we've had one assignment at least from AP Central. So make sure you have that login credentials or those login credentials. All right, so you will need on the day of your exam a device of some sort. You'll need a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or a computer. You can use the school-issued laptops or you can use your personal one. It's up to you. All right, these are the preferred methods, the laptop and computer. That's what they prefer for you to use. So if you're in a situation where you're not able to utilize those items and the only thing you have is your phone, or maybe the hotspot hasn't been working too well, but your phone's reception is relatively decent, you can always use your phone. You can always use a tablet, things like that. It's just that the actual exam is designed to be utilized with that laptop or computer preferably. So remember when we did our assignment and I said, hey, turn in pictures of your assignment from Remind for me. So if you're using a phone or a tablet and you're having difficulty attaching a Word document or something of that nature, that's what you would do. You would actually go ahead and be able to handwrite your submission and then take a picture and upload it to AP Central. So that's what the College Board has said. So you guys are already practicing this, okay? So we've got that. Your format, guys. Okay, so I theorized that it was going to be 2 questions. I was right, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to tell you I told you so, but I totally told you so. So it's going to be 2 questions, okay? And they're only giving you 45 minutes. You need to remember, we have been practicing the use of timed questions for quite a while, basically the whole year. Okay, we were counting on 25 minutes per question. That's not the way it's going to be. All right, it's very, very specific the way that they've outlined it. Question 1 is going to be a 25-minute question. Okay, remember how I talked to you guys on the last PowerPoint about FRQs, how I thought, because it's going to be limited on time, I'm pretty sure it's going to be 2 questions, and I'm pretty sure they're going to utilize those stimulus or the stimuli. I was right. So Question 1 is probably going to be what we've been practicing, a 7-part question. It will be utilizing 2 stimulus. So when I say, or 2 stimuli, when I say the stimuli, if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, that's a map, a photo, that's a P-H-O-T-O, sorry. A map, a photo, a graph, a table, anything of that nature. All right, and they're going to be using 2 of those. So you're going to have to probably compare them, or you're going to have to utilize them to come up to a conclusion. Oh my God, it's like we have been practicing this because we totally have. So remember your OIEC assignment, that is what you're going to utilize for these questions, because you're going to notice that question 1 has 2 stimuli. Okay, that's a little more than half of your score. And then question 2 has 1 stimulus. Okay, and so again, you're going to need to know how to analyze those documents or analyze that stimuli that you've been given. All right, one key thing that's really important is once question 1 has been submitted, you will not be able to go back, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to make sure that you know exactly what you were doing and you upload it. You have 5 minutes to upload that. So I'm not 100% sure how they're going to be doing the timing, if it's going to be one big block of time or what. My theory is they've been super specific about the way that they intend this to work. So my thought is that they're going to have an independent timer for question 1, which will be 25 minutes. So you got to make sure that you're doing everything that you can. You are really answering things as quickly and as well as you can to the best of your ability on question 1. Once you're done with it, you've read over it, you know it's good, you have 5 minutes to upload that. Okay? That's what they've said. Then I believe what's going to happen is they will lock you out of question 1, and then your timer starts again, but this time you only get 15 minutes for question 2. So question 2 is 15 minutes. Again, that utilizes 1 stimuli. So my theory is that, and actually it's the theory of a lot of us in the AP Human Geo community, the theory is that that question will only have 4 to 5 parts, not the 7 parts that we're used to working with. Okay? So for that reason, for the reason that they're allowing you less time, it is probably going to have less parts, and it is also going to be worth a smaller amount of the percentage of your score. That's 45% of the score. Not a hugely smaller amount, but you know, it's not worth as much as your 25-minute question. And then you'll have 5 minutes to upload that question as well. All right. So make sure that you allot a good hour and a half or so of time where you can work uninterrupted. And I know that's really hard at home, guys. I totally understand. But this is a situation that we're in, and you know, we gotta kind of power through it. So try to see if there's any way that you can secure about an hour and a half of time from 2:30 to about 4. Okay, on, when is it again? May 12th. Okay, so that is on Tuesday, May the 12th at 3 p.m., really 2:30 p.m., as I mentioned before. Okay, so this is the format of your actual exam. The focus, guys, and I know that I mentioned this earlier, your focus is going to be units 1 through 5. So that's going to include thinking geographically, population and migration patterns and processes. Okay, so unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 is culture. Okay, 4 is political patterns and processes, and I know that that one's a little more difficult. And then you have agriculture and rural land use patterns and processes. All right, so that should be relatively fresh in your mind. They've also specified the fact that they're only going to utilize these verbs. Okay, these are the verbs that they will be using for this year's exam. So you're not going to have define. You're not going to have identify. I know that we went over those in that FRQ PowerPoint that I gave you guys before, but these are the ones that they're going to use. And we theorized that that was what they would use before anyways, because these are the ones that are more difficult, right? So you're going to have to describe, explain, and you're also going to have to apply concepts, processes, or models. So you're going to have to make sure that you can apply von Thunen's theory, right? You're going to have to apply the idea of population density or falling population and or declining in population and its effects on an economic system, perhaps, right? So those are the things you're going to have to do. You're also going to have to analyze patterns, relationships, and outcomes in an applied context. So when we say in an applied context, we mean in a specific case, okay? Or they'll give you like, well, in Spain, which is the oldest country, you have a situation where there are fewer and fewer schools that are staying afloat in Spain, right? That was horribly worded, but it's off the top of my head. So in Spain, they're having a situation where education is losing schools. The education system is losing schools. Please analyze how the pictured population pyramid has anything to do with the loss of schools in Spain. And so you would analyze that population pyramid, and you would probably note that they would have a falling population. So their population pyramid would look like an upside down triangle, right? Because that means that their population is going down. So if you have an upside down population pyramid, then you're going to say, well, I realize that there is a pattern of lower birth rates in Spain, meaning that the necessity for schools is lower. So therefore, you will probably have less schools because you have less children in the country. That would result in more school closures. So look at that. I just analyzed a pattern, the relationship of the population pyramid and falling population numbers, and I've also identified an outcome. Easy as that, all right? So does this mean that you can use notes? Because, oh my gosh, it's going to be at home and online. Well, remember, this is super, super, super tightly timed. 15 minutes, guys, for your second question, okay? 15 minutes. So the best strategy is really to go in there already knowing all of your informations. The questions that they are going to give you are specifically designed to not be answered by online or book resources, okay? That being said, technically, yes, you can use your notes, but you need to be smart about it, okay? You cannot use online sources like Google or anything like that. They may try to implement a lockdown source, a lockdown browser, where they won't allow you to access the internet. But you can use your books or your notes. Again, it's super tightly timed, so you've got to be incredibly smart about it. So if you're going to do that, go in there with your book and your notes ready. Tab items for easier, quicker access. I can already think of a couple of my students that have done that and that have been doing that, color-coded stuff. We've got, specifically in 5th period, I can already think of at least 3 people that are doing that. So that's a good thing. Just make sure that you have everything ready and quick to access, because you're not going to be able to even spare 5 minutes to go reading through your AMSCO book to try and figure out, oh, I don't know what population density means. Like, you've got to know your stuff, guys. You cannot use assistance from others, and you cannot plagiarize. Those are huge no-nos. Okay, that's like a big, big no-no. Okay, do not do this. All right, the reason that I say this is because the College Board has some serious security, and to be honest, which they should, they got some trust issues, and I don't blame them. All right, I'm your teacher, I love you dearly, but I don't blame them. If a student is found to be violating test security, now what the heck does violating test security mean? It means that if your responses mirror online content, so if your stuff looks like it came from something online, and you're like, well, how are they going to know? Well, they have these fabulous little originality checkers, guys. And if anything is online that has that same wording or the same type of structure, it'll pop up as not being original. Okay, so if your responses mirror online content, if your responses mirror other students' submissions, okay, I know that it's tempting, but if your responses mirror other student submissions, That's another thing that is violating test security. If you're shown to be sharing or receiving exam content or responses, or if you're making plans to gain an unfair advantage, like using the internet, having somebody there with you, or you're talking to someone on the phone, and you're using assistance from another person, or if you share anything on social media, all right, those are all violations of test security. Whoops. Those are all violations of test security, guys, and I'm going to be really honest with you. They are hardcore about this. So like 2 years ago, we had the highest AP Human Geo scores like ever. And one of the things, not AP Human Geo, it was AP scores just in general. And one of the things that happened is a lot of people were found from the psychology test to have been cheating. What they did is they were writing memes. They were making memes. They were writing jokes on their Instagram. I know people don't use Facebook anymore, but like it was on Twitter, it was on Insta, it was all over the place where they were putting memes and references to what was on the exam on their social media. There were a lot of students that were doing that. Well, the College Board found that out. They found them, and anybody who liked those memes or those posts, all of their tests were canceled. Their high schools were notified. It was a big, big deal. Like, they go through your social media accounts, guys. This is a big, big thing. So you've got to be really aware, because when they say that they're going to do this stuff, they have done it. They have already done it. Okay? So if you're found to be violating test security, scores are going to be canceled. You can be blocked from ever testing an AP exam again. Your high school will be notified, along with colleges that you've sent information to or other organizations that are receiving your scores. You can be prohibited from taking future AP exams, like for the rest of your high school career. They can prohibit you taking the SAT, guys. They're the ones that are in charge of the SAT, all right? Or CLEP exams. Those are things that they can come after you with. They can even notify law enforcement. So this is a big, big deal. So you have got to be aware, because they will catch you if you try and think that you're going to be smart and you're going to do a veiled meme or something. Guys, I'm telling you right now, it was a huge, huge deal, literally like 2 years ago. It was a big deal. They removed a lot of test scores. A lot of kids got in really, really big trouble. So please, please, whatever you do, don't do any of that stuff. Okay. So remember, when we do our FRQs, because we're going to be practicing, tie your answers to the questions that are being asked. Pay attention to the scale of analysis. Remember scale of analysis? That's where you're talking about global, national, local, nationally, locally, okay, all of those things. Make sure you pay attention to that scale of analysis, because that's going to be a big difference if you're talking about Mexican food in Edinburgh, so at the local scale, versus Mexican food on a global scale, right? You're going to see it a lot more locally than you are going to see it in Malaysia. Okay, so those are things that you got to be aware of. Be super specific in your answers. Know and be able to apply your vocabulary. That's important. And then you've got to also know, just like OIEC is going to be hugely, hugely important for analyzing your stimulus material, so is ESPN. Okay, so you've got to know. You've got to know the difference between the types of information that you're looking at. Is it economic? Is it social, political, or environmental? Okay, all of those things are going to be crucial. So what now? We got to practice. We got to practice, because we know what we have ahead of us. We know what we have ahead of us. We've just got to make sure that we practice. Time yourselves, guys. I'm not there with my crazy classroom timers. If you want, I'm going to give you the website. It's online timers. It's online timer. And you go to classroom timers, and there you will find my crazy timers that I used to use in class with you. Okay, you can go to the classroom timer and you can time yourself. So time yourself doing your FRQs. Look at maps, graphs, charts, and photos. Get a news app. All the news apps right now have tons of stimulus material that you can analyze. They've got graphs, they've got maps, they've got all kinds of stuff. So those are things that you can do. Look at those things. Practice looking at the types of things that you'll see, which are maps, graphs, charts, and photos. Practice utilizing your OIEC and ESPN. Okay? Use those things in your daily lives. Hey, explain the concepts to other people. All right? Talk about Human Geo at dinner. I bet your parents would find it kind of fascinating. Okay? Talk about the things that we talk about. I mean, we talk about all kinds of cool stuff. And I mean, even when you're watching movies or something, look at it and be like, hey, dude, that's totally Human Geo. No joke. I was just watching a movie yesterday and I was like, oh my gosh, if I could isolate little sections, but I'm not that technologically amazing. I would totally give this to my kids, right? So try and explain things to other people. If you can explain it to someone, then you have a better handle on it. That means that you actually know what you're talking about if you can explain these concepts to people. So that's going to be your job, guys. Make sure that you do that, all right? Y'all are awesome. You're amazing. I believe in you. Make sure that you finish your Unit 1 review, okay? Because we're going to be going over all of these units because we've got about a month, and that's it, before your actual AP exam. You guys are fabulous. Have a spectacular day, an amazing day, a fantabulous day. You are rock stars, guys. You're my rock stars. You're my trailblazers, and I believe in you so much. Thank you. Have a great day.